Hello and a very good evening to you. Welcome to day 3 in the Embassy World Pool Championships. Well, tonight we focus our attention on the grand final in the team event. Now, last night England had a very confident win over their semi-final opponents, France, 14 frames to 1. It wasn't quite such an easy ride for the Australians. They had a marathon of a semi-final match against Ireland, but they came out the winners in the end. Now, England have been tipped to regain their title here tonight, but I can tell you the Australians have travelled a long way for this one, and they will be putting up a very strong fight indeed. A tough one then to follow, 27 frames, or the best of 27 frames. Our commentator once again is Jim White, but first over to our MC for this evening, Mr. Alan Hughes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to welcome the officials, timekeeper Ron Madden and your referee Ted Tate. Gentlemen-led battle commenced between Alex DEFREITAS of Australia, Jason Twist of England.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First
so the experienced team from down under versus the talented title holders to battle it out toe-to-toe for the coveted Embassy World Pool Team Championship of 1996. It's Alex DEFREITAS versus Jason Twist to start the ball rolling here. Welcome to Sky Sports coverage of this championship.
Open title.
Back in Manchester here at the New Century Hall. This is where it's all happening.
Red ball's in play.
And it's England and Jason Twist in with the first real opportunity. These teams, different paths en route to this final. England, a very comfortable winner indeed, 14-1 over France, whereas Australia was made to battle it out over Ireland. In the end, they came through 14 frames to 10. And you know they're delighted to be here. They feel very good about their chances, but they also understand, as does everyone, the importance of getting off to a good start against this talented English side. It's Alex DEFREITAS, did very well against the Irish team. One of the strong players. Certainly one that will be counted on heavily.
Come on, come on. Yellows to play.
Knowing these players very well, the gentleman sat right beside me himself, heavily involved in this team championship. At least you were up until a little while ago. Greg Farron, one of the mainstays on the Irish team. And Greg, you guys lost out to the Aussies. You said they're going to be a tough handle here for England.
Yes, Jim, I think obviously the England team strong favourites over the years, but the Australians getting closer each year, I feel, and they proved that in the semi-final against our Irish team. A bit of a marathon, but as you know, they are here now in the final against England. I think very important on the first few frames of this match. If Australia can just take one or two of the first few frames, then it'll give England a little bit of a scare, and we could be in for a bit of a humdinger of a match.
Well, that's exactly what France didn't do. I have to agree with you. They've got to let England know very early that they're here to play.
That's right, and Jason here, Mr. Red down the down the right-hand cushion, left it over the corner pocket, which is causing the Australian player a few problems, but it was a golden opportunity really for Jason to put England firmly into the driving seat and to stop Australia trying to give them a little bit of a scare. So the Australians will be happy that they've been given an opportunity to try and work their way into this match in the first frame. Jason in a commanding position at the moment with those two reds over the corner pockets, but Alec looking to double across and going off the red, which is done as sweet as a nut. And now 5 yellows left on the table, one sitting pretty over the top corner pocket. Might be a slight problem with the black in the centre of the table, the red to the right hand side of the black, possibly causing a problem for the black, although it does look as though the black passes through the two reds on the left hand side of the table into the left hand corner pocket. Alex sending the cue ball round the table there and landing perfectly in position on one of those two yellows close together.
Well, England has owned this tournament ever since it started. They've won the title every year, and they're still the team to beat.
Yes, Jim, and from the way Alex has played that shot, it's quite obvious that the black does pass through the centre of those two red balls into the corner pocket.
Great start this for the Aussies. If they're to have any chance, this is exactly what they need. They've got to take advantage of every opportunity, and they know it. Alec Everinatis has just staked Australia to a 1-0 lead over England in this best of 27 final. They call him ace, and this was a good yellow to start it off. Cleared the pocket, and that paved the way for the rest of the balls to come.
Australia to break, leading by 2 frames to 0.
So it's MACRI from the Australian team. He'll be up against Lee Kendall from England. A quick check of the balls just to make sure that they're all touching. Very important to impart maximum displacement when breaking.
Yes, and Mick MACRI, a new member of the Australian team this year, Jim. Yeah. He's the Australian singles champion, having beaten a fellow member of his team, Steve SEEBOHM, in the final in Australia earlier on this year. And he was 4-0 down in that match, managed to come back and beat Steve 5-4, so quite used to handling the pressure situations in the pool game. But that man sitting in his chair for England, still a young man, I might add, but been in the England side quite a few years now, loads of experience.
There's Lee Kendall from Stoke-on-Trent, as you said.
Red balls nominated.
International experience far belying his youth.
Reds in play.
Starting off quite well, MACRI for Australia here. Not forgetting if he can manage to beat Lee Kendall, a very important 3-0 lead. We could be in for quite some match here, Jim.
Could be a shock on the cards. And it would take a year for England to be able to gain revenge.
Maybe it's a little bit premature of me to say, but could we be seeing the end of an era?
Well, there's an awful lot of intensity on that Australian side.
So Mike MACRI still in good position on the red balls. Three reds and the black to go. Has to manoeuvre the cue ball around the table. Taking his time. He knows how important this match is to the Australians.
30 seconds remaining.
He's going to have to force this red into the centre pocket to bring the cue ball. Well, as I say that, he hasn't. He's left himself a long way away from the red, and this a difficult shot. I felt he could have forced the red into the centre pocket there, Jim, and tried to bring the cue ball closer to the two reds, but opting to keep a line on the red ball.
30 seconds.
Going to try and pot the red ball and dislodge the other one, and he's potted a great long red, screwed around the black and the red, and now has a red into the centre pocket to take Australia into a 3-0 lead.
He's got loads of experience. He's played 8-ball and 9-ball competitions in Las Vegas representing Australia. He's only 34 years of age. And a list of credits. That one's escaped him though. Put all his eggs in one basket there. This is a big chance for Lee Kendall.
Yes, Lee Kendall, 6 yellows, all in potable positions. The black in a sweet position. But has to remember that that red's hanging close to that centre pocket, so no mistakes allowed from Lee Kendall.
30 seconds remaining.
Extra pressure on Lee Kendall here, knowing that England are 2-0 down. So we'll just be taking a little bit more care on the shots. Just having a look to see whether the yellow passes past that red ball over the centre pocket, and he thinks it will, so he goes for it and cleverly plays the yellow ball off the red, dislodging the red from the centre pocket. Also, just in case he didn't quite manage to pot the yellow, played the cue ball in such a way that he's got position on a yellow, but if he missed, there was a good chance of snookering his opponent on his last red ball. Probably take the yellow to the top right corner pocket here, and has a choice to play on either of the two remaining yellows. Coolly walking round the table.
He's a terrific shot maker, the left-hander.
Yes, and surprisingly played a screw shot there, Jim, but he's managed to screw into one of the yellows, and both yellows now will go into that left-hand centre pocket. And I think England are now going to get a score onto the board. A sigh of relief from Lee Kendall there.
Well, they've troubled the scorer in this one. They've taken their first frame. It's 2-1 to Australia, but it was an important one to take for Lee Kendall.
Thank you. Fourth frame, England to break, trailing by 2 frames to 1. Open table.
Watching them earlier, I know that both of them are playing some of the best pool of their career.
These are two very successful men at the table. Mark Goodwin has a better than 80% success rate in his frame so far during this tournament in the team event, and Mick Delahunty better than 70% success rate. Well, one of those percentages is going to fall.
Thirty seconds remaining.
Yellow ball's in play.
That was a great opening shot from Mark Goodwin, the plat, and it's really got the yellows in a very nice position now, very enviable position. He's such a good potter. I think, Greg, you expect him to get out here.
Yeah, I think so. Just I was just going to say, could have a problem getting onto that yellow that he's now in a sweet position on. So running around the table a little bit quicker than he normally does, so maybe feeling the pressure as well. But doesn't look to be affecting his play at the moment. The yellow to the right-hand side of the table, nearest that centre pocket, has to have the cue ball in prime position, which deciding now that he's in prime position, so just trying to trickle that into the centre pocket and managing to do that quite nicely, and now looking very good to level the match for England.
All he's got to do is screw this yellow straight back to leave the other one into the center, and the black will be at his mercy. A very convincing visit from Mark Goodwin, and he's certainly taking the wind out of the Australian sails. The black into the pocket. He's leveled it up, and look at the intensity that Mark Goodwin is instilling into his teammates. It's now 2 frames apiece in this best of 27 final.
9th frame, Australia to break with a frame score at 4 frames all.
And at 4 frames apiece, it's Russell Yulton from Australia versus Keith Brewer, the UK #1.
Open table.
And England has never had their nose in front in this final. They've been deadlocked at 2-2, 3-3, and now 4-4. And I wonder if their anchor man, Brewer, can finally get them a frame in front.
Well, there's no better man you'd want
30 seconds
on
remaining.
your side in the anchor position, Jim. As you said, the UK's #1, most consistent player in the country.
Open table. Yellow ball's in play.
Come on.
Russell Yalton taking a yellow ball. Has a yellow now into the right bottom corner pocket. Managing to get it, just cannoning into the red in the centre of the table, leaving himself a lovely position on the probably the worst yellow on the table. So once he gets rid of this yellow, looks good to take this frame.
That's right, Greg. I'm sure that was the most awkward sitting yellow that was remaining for Russell. The only other problem ball would probably be the yellow over the right-hand center.
Yes, just looking at the angle he wants to leave on this yellow at the bottom of the table. And leaving quite a wide angle because he knows he has to get out towards that yellow over the centre pocket. And not only that, he has to get on it in such a way he can get the yellow just above that one, and consequently leaving a wide angle there, just not managing to get the pot. But in his favour, he's managed to cover the pocket, and Keith Brewer there, as you can see, has two reds quite near to that pocket, so he'll have to try and manoeuvre his way around the back of those reds if he's going to try and pot them. Just looking at that, he has a red in the centre of the table which he can pot into the bottom left hand corner pocket and get round the back of those two reds. But just having a look to see whether he wants to try and go for a finish at this stage of the frame.
Yes, these are the awkward reds that you mentioned, Greg, because the yellow blocks off the natural pocket.
Yes. And deciding against trying to get behind them, Jim, probably because of the red that is nearest the right centre middle pocket.
Come on, Russ.
Deciding to try and cover the yellow that's nearest the right centre middle pocket. Not quite sure if he has covered it. Wonder if Russell Yalton can get through the gap between those two reds.
Well, it is a smaller cue ball than the object balls, but I still don't think there's enough room there. Mind you, having said that, when we got a flash from that camera angle, it almost did look like there was room, Greg.
Yeah, and the Australian asking for a timeout to check actually whether the cue ball will go through that gap, because if it does, it means he's not total snookered, and if it doesn't, obviously he's got a total snooker.
How precise does Russell have to be on this if he attempts to go through that gap?
As you can see, I think the referee has proved that the cue ball will go through that gap, so he's not going to award a total snooker.
Couldn't fit a piece of paper on either side.
And Russell Yalton, you can see by the look on his face there, quite happy that he managed to squeeze the cue ball through that gap, develop the yellow, leaving the two yellows in a possible plant situation over the centre pocket. And now Keith Brewer with the same problem he had a couple of shots ago, those two reds towards the bottom right corner pocket.
30 seconds remaining.
And again, potting a red coming round the table, and gonna try and play a tactical shot here. Has a couple of choices. Could try and stick the red just in front of the yellow over the centre pocket, thereby stopping the yellows from going in, but not quite managing that. But he has got a total snooker.
He's a tough man to beat in the tactical department. He plays in all the major tour events in the UK and Europe, and he tops the ranking in virtually every category.
Looking to come across the table here, Jim, to try and knock the plant into the centre pocket, and he's managed to do it, but not sure if he's moved the yellow away from the centre pocket so that it now doesn't go in. Now you can see does actually squeeze into the centre pocket, but very, very tight.
Well, looking at the angle for that ball to pass into the middle pocket, I'd rather have him shooting that one than me. That looks like it's virtually impossible.
Remaining.
What a shot this would be. Can't fancy him for this. Just a tactical shot, Greg.
Yeah, didn't actually play it, just developed it over the centre pocket again, leaving the cue ball very close to the black ball. And I think if Keith Brewer can see the red that is towards the top of the table, and if he can just manage to clip that one, then that's the one he'll be going to, because he doesn't want to actually move the one that is covering the yellow into the centre pocket. Looks very tight, he's not happy with it, but deciding that that's the only course of action, and that's what he's played. And he's got a double kiss on that red that he developed there, and it does look as though there's a possible snooker situation. Russell Yilton is playing the white the full length of the table, coming round off two cushions, and he's played it very, very well. Just came off cushion first to pot that yellow, knowing that the cue ball was coming round off two cushions. Had to hit it hard enough so as not to snooker himself. And now if he can just manage to sneak this yellow into the centre pocket and stay on the black, and he's done that quite magnificently. This will be a feather in the Australian's cap.
It's there, and Russell Yilton has beat Keith Brewer at his own game. A terrific effort from the Australian, and he's taken his team into that one-frame lead yet again. 5-4, Australia over England.
13th frame, Australia to break, leading 7 frames to 5.
But it's a 2-frame deficit in this race to 14, and right now I'm joined by the captain of the Irish team, Tony Holgate.
Yes, mate, come on.
Very dangerous player, Mick Delahunty.
Red and yellow ball spotted.
And I should know, I've played him twice in the team event this year, and both times he's finished in a break against me, so I've not played a shot against Mick yet. I'm not likely to this year anyway, but no, he's very dangerous. Great player.
Yellow ball's in play.
Always unpredictable. I mean, he gets himself into some situation where you think, well, he's going to miss in a minute, and then he'll just go and pull out some big shot. Playing the right way, though, there. Playing the safety. Not leaving anything for Stacey. Keep England backed onto the ropes.
It's red balls in play for Stacey Vine. He's fluked it, or very nearly. Man, he made a quick path back to his seat. He wasn't happy with that effort.
I don't think he'll settle for it, though.
Yeah, this wasn't a good effort from Mick Delahunty at all. He's a better player than that.
England just aren't forcing themselves on this match like they normally do. They're looking a little bit hesitant, and just beginning to see some chinks in the old England armour there. Not used to seeing it.
Yeah, they usually assert the authority that they've demonstrated in the past very quickly, and it just hasn't materialized so far.
I think the thing is, Jim, England are so used to steamrolling teams right at the start of a match, and they get so far in front that they don't believe they can be caught. They get an unassailable lead and away they go. But Australia have really just kept them pinned back all the way through this. I just wonder now if it's like beginning to tell a bit on the England players.
I wonder if he's going to try and double that one yellow back and then bump the other one over the top right.
Yes, sir. Come on. Come on.
I think he heard you, Jim.
What a finish this would be.
Absolutely fantastic shot that was. He's got a big area of space to land in here. Potting his second to last yellow.
Yes, mate. Come on. Come on, Mick. Come on.
A little bit close to the rail there. Just got to keep his head down really and just make sure he executes this shot properly. I mean, if you pull up on these, you can not screw back properly and stop the white dead or something, and you leave yourself no shot. So he's got to make sure he comes up. He's not played the screw. That's a great shot. That's a great shot.
The captain of the Australian team leading by example. The Blacks there, and for the first time in this match, Australia enjoys a 3-frame lead. Full value, it's 8-5 in this race to 14.
England to break, trailing 8 frames to 5.
He got a ball off the break. There's the Australian flag. Will he be waving it later? You know, it's 8-5 right now to Australia. And if not for a couple hiccups, it could be like 10-3 in front in this match.
Without a doubt, Jim. I mean, they've had chances to really take England apart. England have really got to knuckle down now. They can't afford to take any chances at all. I mean, they're 3 frames adrift, and they've got it all to do. Australia up to 8 frames now. You can't be giving anything away now.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty. Everyone counts. And this is the time where experience might prove invaluable.
They're
Yellow ball's in play.
definitely wobbling, Jim. I mean, that shot there from John. And if that had been at the start of the week, that would have been spot on. 8-5 down in the final against Australia. I can't believe what I'm saying. England are wobbling. They're only human after all.
The muncher, Steve SEEBOHM from Australia.
Thing is, Jim, the more that England miss, the more confidence the Australians get. Like, I mean, they're starting to believe in themselves. They believe they can actually win this team event. Teams have played England before. I mean, we played them in the final last year. And my team really, I mean, I did pump them up, and they said, yeah, we're really fired up. But they did crumble. We crumbled last year against England in the final because we were frightened of them. But now Australia are really beginning to believe in themselves. And I'll tell you what, it could be an upset.
Well, they've got full reason to, Tony. They beat England 16-11 in the initial round-robin stage. I think from the outset they believed they could win this one. But not playing like that.
That was a real bad slip. It wasn't as though it was a big pressure ball. When you're 3 frames in front, you're quite happy with everything. I still think there might be another twist in the tail yet, Jim.
Well, that little bit of uncertainty creeping into John Lewis's game.
30 seconds remaining.
Without a doubt, Jim, normally that would have been straight down, pot the red into the middle bag. But he's having 2 or 3 looks at it. It's not where he wanted to be. Still got a chance though. Still in good shape, but still not where he wanted to be. He didn't execute that one properly.
But just looking at the balls, hasn't worked out too bad. Can clip this one into the middle. The other red means he can hold position on the one to the top left. But he's still got to get over. He's got to leave himself angle on the red on the right-hand cushion to be able to get over for the black. Looks awfully straight to me, Tony.
Yeah, he shouldn't have screwed back like that. I think more or less he really wanted to just stop the white dead, Jim. Leave himself plenty of angle so he didn't have to do too much to the cue ball. Now he's virtually screwing straight back. He's going to leave himself an awkward black wherever he finishes. This is no tapping. 8-5 down. Do you fancy this one, Jim?
I don't think they like it either. No, I don't fancy him to knock it in here, but he's certainly going to put Australia under pressure even if he doesn't. That is a tremendous pot. And just look at the English side. Do they know how big that one is? 8-6 to Australia. And clean as a whistle into the pocket. And that was a big frame, because now it's the UK #1 Keith Brewer, arguably the best player on the England team, up against Avellino DeFreitas. And if Brewer wins this one, as many expect he should, it's only going to be a 1 frame difference. How the tide can turn.
Red ball's in play.
And with the Reds in play now, there's a finish on here for Keith. Everything in the open. And he's as solid as the Rock of Gibraltar under pressure. Well, Keith, really a variety of options here because that black is available to a number of pockets. And the most awkwardly placed red is the one over the right-hand center. If he can get to it right now, wants to try and finish fairly straight on the last red to the bottom right-hand corner with a soft screw back for the black. Couldn't have asked for a better man to come to the table in this situation.
No, that's right, Jim. Play with Keith's ability. It's always handy when you're up against it. Looks like he's doing him proud now, Jim, anyway.
It's been a textbook clearance. Black finishes it, and Keith Brewer knows it. It was a big one. He brings England back. It's Australia 8, England 7.
16th frame, England trading 8 frames to 7.
Jason Twist up against John Russell.
Red ball posses.
Well, Jason, of all the English players, as good a player as he is, he was a runner-up in last year's World Singles Final. He struggled a bit in the team competition. They desperately need him to find some form.
Well, he hasn't got a lot of choice there, Jim. He's got to be playing the red up into the top left-hand corner. Awkward queuing as well. Must make this pot as well, because if you look at all the yellows, just look how spread out they are. Misses this one, and John Russell, well, I expect to be very pleased to get to the table anyway, should he miss. That's an excellent shot there from Jason. A lot of pressure on that ball there, but pulled out the pot ever so well.
Where the arm went there. He dropped the cue. That is pressure, pure and simple.
For me, Jason Twiss is one of the greatest potters in the world. And that is like all company included.
2 visits, yellows in play.
Out of all the professionals, he is one of the greatest potters I've ever witnessed. And I cannot believe the shot I've just seen him play. I've never seen him do that, ever. Never seen him do that. Unbelievable.
JR with 2 visits.
Well, John won't try anything spectacular, that's for sure. Good team man he is to have, John Russell. Just be looking just to run these balls in now, make sure of the finish, put Australia back 2 frames in front. I feel Australia need to keep the nose in front of this match, because I think if England do manage to get in front, I think the Australian heads probably go down a bit. You could see maybe a collapse and the floodgates might open. But if they can just nick this frame here, who knows, it could keep the dream alive.
I agree, Tony. They've got to stay clear. They've had so many chances to really bury England in this, and the fact that England has stayed with them. And England has stayed with them as much by their bad play as England's good play.
Absolutely perfect, Jim. Couldn't wish to be in better position. Formality stuff now. Just want to knock these 3 yellows in, keep his 2 shots on the black.
He's controlling that cue ball perfectly. Got to ensure in potting the 2 yellows to leave himself a clear path at the black ball, because he won't have to pot it on his first attempt.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful, make sure he gets the cue ball back far enough. As you can see, he's got a bit of an angle there. This isn't so easy. Absolute perfection. What a beautiful shot that was, Jim.
He's really gathering his concentration, taking a lot of time, very measured in how he wants to approach this.
Seconds remaining.
So it's the black to the top right. And needless to say, well,
I'm not sure if he's going in the top right, Jim.
Yeah,
I think
you're
he's
right,
going
Tony.
in the top left.
It doesn't pass. He's going top left. If this isn't in, it'll be over the pocket.
He's left it there deliberately to make sure he's sending a cue ball at the top of the table and it hits the cushion. Clever little shot there from John.
Good shot. As good as in. This black. They will maintain the 9-7 advantage. And the struggles of Jason Twiss continue. But not for John Russell, they don't. It's Australia 9 and England 7. 5 frames away from the ultimate prize.
17th frame.
He shakes hands with Cran Wrigley,
9 frames to 7.
the Australian player. Just gets a cube of chalk from one of his teammates. I wonder if it's going to be a lucky cube of chalk. He's breaking off.
Open table.
Yeah, it doesn't look to be a lucky cube of chalk there, Jim. In fact, it was Jack Halligan's chalk that he came to the table with. Good chance here for Rob Chilton, though.
Yellow ball's in play.
He's played a slack first shot by the looks of it. If you notice, all the colours are wide open in this frame. It's not a ball on a cushion. One little mistake here and Australia could be back in again. My mistake, Jim. I didn't realise he could creep through the gap. From here, it looked like he was stuck behind the yellow. Still, it's no easy finish here. Still got a little bit of work to do. He's got to be spot on with his cue ball control in his frame, Rob Chilton. That's just helped his cause.
But under immense pressure. He's one of the younger, more inexperienced players on the English team. And that pressure magnified somewhat by the fact that the Reds are all in the open. And if a miss did happen to materialize, they could be plucked off one by one. So he's really got to keep his head down.
Yeah, he's a confident little fellow, Rob. If you remember in his semi-final against France, he's one of the more positive players, I think, for England.
Well, that shot couldn't have worked out better. Great position from yellow to yellow. And now just needs to bump this yellow in. Natural angle to finish on the black. If it doesn't go bottom left, rest assured, you'll be taking it bottom right. Big frame it was, and a big frame he played. Well done, Rob Chilton. He's pulled one back. He defeated Cran Wrigley, and England trails Australia by 9 frames to 8.
Frame, England's break, trading 8 frames to 9.
England's Lee Kendall breaking off against Russell Yulton. Yellow and red potted. It's an open table.
Red and yellow ball potted.
And those balls have spread ever so nicely for Lee Kendall.
Well, this is absolute formality finish. Lee couldn't wish for anything more. Neither could England. Just what they needed. A couple of simple finishes to knock in, get the scores back to level. All of a sudden it'll be Australia under the cosh. He can really afford to land anywhere, Jim. I mean, I can't see there's nothing in his way really to stop him making this finish.
Really, the importance of the break. Lee Kendall wants to keep his opponent right in his chair. Well, what do you have to say about that?
Red ball's in play.
Well, what can you say, Jim? I mean, we've seen that from like 2 or 3 now of the world's greatest players. It's just unbelievable.
An open pot.
Dead straight, Jim.
He must have just mishit the white.
I don't know what it was. I don't think it was a kick. Because if it was a kick, I'm sure Russell would have probably asked the referee to clean the cue ball.
Good recovery pot from Russell. He lost the cue ball slightly. Now he looks to be back on course. But the one awkward red that he's looking at is the one over the left center. This red on the left side of the table, just in behind Russell's left ear. That's the red there. And now both of these players taking their turns playing Santa Claus.
2 visits.
Just have a look at this.
That's just careless, Jim. No need to run the cue ball through like that. No need. He could have rolled that in gently and he'd have still ended up where he was on a red. Very, very silly mistake.
And with 2 visits,
30 seconds remaining.
you can almost chalk up the win for England here, and I think Russell knows it. He's given one away. Australia really have had this match by the throat, and they've just let their grip loosen ever so slightly with each match. They were in front at one stage 8-5, could easily have gone 9-5, and now they look like being pegged back to 9 apiece. He's really making this difficult, Tony, and I mean, he's just got to drop the yellow in, play the other yellow into the top right, screw back. I mean, I hate to make it sound real easy because there's a lot of pressure out there, but he's taking a lot of time over something that he normally wouldn't.
Yeah, you're dead right, Jim. I think the longer you stand there looking at the balls, the harder they get. I think he's just trying to make things hard for himself. I don't know why. He looks a little bit spooked.
Quite possibly the memory of his last miss still in his mind.
Well, he's been trying to invent ways he can fall over on his finish, and very strong possibility he might fall over on it now.
Still got the 2 visits, remember, so he'll just bump this one, line it up, and ensure that he'll be able to finish on the black.
He really wanted to keep the 2 visits for the black.
Second visit.
I mean, there are no tap-ins. It's on the cushion. However, I still fancy him to get it.
Heavily. Dead center. And Lee Kendall, the pride of the Potteries, has leveled things up here. It's 9 frames apiece in this best of 27 final, and everything to play for. Welcome back to the 1996 Embassy World Pool Team Championships. And Stacey Vine needing to pull things back for England. He's breaking off.
Nothing easy there, Jim. However, I still fancy Stacey to maybe take the reds.
Reds in play.
30 seconds remaining.
Stacey's got two options here. You can either cut the red, which I think he's going to do now towards this bottom pocket, just hang the ball down at the bottom of the table.
Yellows to play.
I think what Stacey's trying to do is just gradually spread the reds apart, give himself a chance at the frame. But you never know what will happen with that man Halligan at the table.
Just taken that pocket. Got control of the top right of the table now.
Thirty seconds remaining.
I don't think we're going to see a quick result in this one.
Well, it's still really anyone's frame, Jim. Both have got a pocket covered. Both have got awkward balls. Anybody's.
Good clearance shot by Stacey. And now he's developed himself into a little better position, and just look up there. Can't stand to sit down. Very nervous. That's the England captain, Kevin Wright. And I can tell you, if it goes right down to the wire, he will be the man that'll be carrying the torch. Waiting and wondering in the wings as Jack Halligan from Australia now.
30 seconds remaining.
No need to leave that ball over the pocket anymore because Stacey had removed his red, Tony.
Don't know what Jack's looking at here. I thought he might have tried to play the yellow that's in the centre of the table down over the bottom right hand corner pocket. Block one of the corner pockets. There's a couple of reds down there and stop Stacey having a chance to finish. Looks to me like he might be going game.
Well, he's got the very awkward yellows, obviously, in the middle of the table. That's the two here nearest the red. And as yet, I'm not too sure what he's going to do with them.
I think Jack could have been a bit more patient with this frame. Could have just covered the pocket there, bided his time a little and moved the yellows out into a potable position. But now makes Stacey a strong favourite for this frame. Most certainly now he's played that shot anyway. He now owns both bottom corner pockets.
With Australia leading 10 frames to 9. Stacey Vine has yet to win a match in this final. He couldn't win a bigger one. He comes to the table in a very commanding position.
I'm surprised he did that, Stacey, because he had time on his side there, Jim, in this frame. He could have just played a little shot down there, made Jack play his 2 yellows at the middle of the table and opened his red up for him. But as it's turned out, he's now opened up the yellows for Jack and given him a chance that I thought he wouldn't have.
Well, it might have been a chance that he won't see again. Choice of reds. He's not made this quite as easy as he could have.
Great shot though, Jim. Had to drill it into the corner pocket. Great shot.
But right now, the angle that he's got a stun just up on the right-hand side of the black as we look.
Come on, Jack.
Come on, Jack.
How many times have we seen that?
Well, it's happened a few times. It's unbelievable. That's a foul shot. The ball did not hit his cushion. 2 shots for Australia.
Now Jack Halligan with 2 visits. And the reason the cue ball is in hand is because he was foul snookered on every one of his yellows. And with the 2 visits, nothing short of disaster will stop him from taking this frame.
Yes, sir.
Absolute beautiful shot Jack's played there. Hasn't got to do anything special with this. You can either run through or you can just pull back a couple of inches. It's got a couple of options here, Jim. Well, that's unbelievable. Well, there we are, the total snook again. So he doesn't have to hit the cushion after contact with this. So we'll be playing this very softly, just to roll into the yellow to try and set it up into the middle pocket.
Come on.
Second visit.
Well, he certainly caused some anxious moments there. Now, can he clip this back into the center? Or is lightning gonna strike twice?
Also, maybe if the cut's very thin, got to be a little bit careful where the red is. Cue ball could quite easily come around there if he puts a bit of side on. Could quite easily come around there and knock the red into the centre pocket as well.
30 seconds remaining.
Oh, he's played it well. Still no easy black though.
That's an understatement. Great shot. Fantastic black. And just look at Jack Halligan. That was a big one, and he knew it. Australia back in front by 2 frames. The flag is flying. 11-9, just 3 more required, and they'll be the new world team champions.
Thank you. 21st frame. Australia to break, leading by 11 frames to 9.
Mick MACRI from Australia and Jason Twist from England. Jason Twist hasn't won a frame in the final here yet. He couldn't pick a better time to do it, but it's MACRI breaking off.
Yellow and red ball spotted.
Jack Halligan and Alec Everinatis, they've done their part. Won the last 2 frames to give Australia the 11-9 lead they enjoy now.
Come on, Nick. 30 seconds remaining.
Shot time. Come on, mate. Come on.
He's played a very good shot there, Jim. Looks like he might give himself a great opportunity.
This looks like a dodgy shot to me.
Yeah, he wants to be careful, Jim. His cue ball's very close to the red. You've got to be careful of leaving your tip there and pushing through or playing a double hit.
30 seconds remaining.
Got to just try and pull that cue ball into the yellow. Did it. Got the red.
Absolutely perfect. Couldn't wish for a better position.
Looking at the long red
30 seconds remaining.
to the top right. He's got an easy red bottom left. The red that's going to cause the problems for him right now is this one over on the right hand side as we look. That's the only real dodgy one.
I think he might play it last, Jim. We can just slot this ball into the centre pocket, pots the other ball into the other centre pocket, tries to leave himself virtually straight on that one down the rail. If he can get right up behind it, he's only got to sort of play a little soft screw, just stun it down the rail. Even if he rattles it, Jim, he's still going to cover that bottom pocket, still going to be in control.
Well, certainly though, Tony, if there is a stumbling block, that's the shape it's going to come in.
Yeah, he's got to make sure he gets straight on this. Doesn't want any angle at all, this. He's not done bad. He'll settle for that, will Mick.
Looks pretty calm out there, but I'm sure everything inside churning. Dead center. What a clearance this would be.
Absolutely brilliant, Jim. Well, he is their Australian champion. He's showing why he won that title this year.
Black in the pocket. It's a 12-9 Australian lead. And who could have believed it? They're just 2 frames away from winning the World Team title. They're in a state of shock, as are we. And just about everybody in the arena except the Australian players and supporters. They're close to being ecstatic.
As you know, Jim, that's only one shot to Rob Chilton. So I think he's going to take the reds. Put the cue ball just behind the line. Take out these two awkward ones. This could be one straight back for England. But what pressure on Rob Chilton, though.
Red ball's in play.
This is where the balls look like footballs and the pockets look like polo mints.
Well, the reds are open. Normally, this would be the most elementary of finishes, but under these conditions,
and also it's come down to the new boy, Jim, to keep them in the match. And I can tell you he'll certainly be feeling it now. Didn't play the greatest of shots there, but really it's still a formality finish. Just got to make sure he gets the white, past the yellows, back out for his last red. Great shot.
With certainly a rush of adrenaline. Didn't need to screw it back quite so far, but if he knocks this red in, stops the cue ball there, he will have achieved it. A very simple black, and England knows, as do we. They've staved off elimination thanks to Rob Chilton. Good effort and a terrific clearance. They still trail 13 frames to 10 to the Australian team. There's the score line. It's a race to 14, and that says it all.
Okay, 24th frame, England to break, trailing 10 frames to 13.
Lee Kendall from Stoke-on-Trent. A very sure stroking left-hander.
Come on, Abba.
Open
That's
table.
Abelino DeFreitas. He's representing Australia. And DeFreitas has yet to win a frame in this final. 0 for 2. This is his third kick at the can. And a bigger frame he couldn't ask for.
Yeah, Avellino is Australia's Mr. Cautious.
30 seconds remaining.
Doesn't really like to go for the balls. But I think he's
Yellow ball's in play.
hasn't got any choice, really. I think he's made a bad option there. I'd have rather took reds there in that position. But Avellino knows what he's doing.
Come on.
Reds to play.
Just a containing safety. DeFreitas will be slightly disappointed not to have continued on there, but right now it's all about mistakes and how to limit them. Alan Bartlett again must have his heart on his sleeve. This will certainly be a bitter pill to swallow for Mr. Bartlett and the English side. As I said, they've owned this tournament. Keith Brewer, UK #1. He's been up against some very stern Australian competition here. Can't even sit down. Everything churning inside. Very noticeable the silence with the balls that are potted on the English side, as opposed to the Australian team. Every ball that finds its way to a pocket is jubilantly rewarded.
I didn't think we'd see Lee go for the finish there. Has left anything easy for Avellino. Just wondered if he's looking at playing the yellow ball off the other yellow next to the cushion, trying to pot the yellow into the middle pocket.
30 seconds remaining.
That's an incredible attempt. That was rather unlucky, Jim, that.
Well, actually, the yellow hit the reds on the way there, so would have been more good luck than good management. Would have just about worked out. Certainly, as it is, he's improved the position of the yellows, if nothing else.
Definitely, Jim.
30 seconds remaining.
He's giving himself a good shout at this frame now. That's a great shot from Lee Kendall. What a shot under pressure. I think Lee's decided, well, he's seen the yellows all in the open of the table. He's decided to go for the finish himself rather than try and play safe and maybe risk a chance of Avellino clearing.
"30 seconds remaining."
Good, confident strike. As I said, can't afford any more mistakes. It's all about character when you get down to situations like this. You've got to dig deep. And that's what Lee Kendall and all the remaining English players that are yet to play are going to have to do.
Maybe left a bit of awkward cue in there, Jim. I think he'll be enjoying this shot, knowing full well the Australians only require one frame for victory.
And yet Tony, he's forced into taking it on.
Worst thing is he's using his time up. He might have to rush this shot if he's not careful.
There's the problem. And there's the solution. A tremendous pot. That one got some applause. This is some effort by Lee Kendall. There's still a light in the window, and there's still one at the end of the tunnel for the English team. 13-11. 2 down with 3 to play. What a tremendous shot this was from Lee Kendall. So it's Daz Ward, the reigning Embassy champion. He needs a ball. Yellow's in.
Yellow ball potted.
The courage that England is showing right now is the reason that they're 3-time defending world team champions. But this break could prove enormous. They're fighting for everything they have. The man representing Australia right now is Cran Wrigley. Is he going to get a chance in this one?
Well, I think Dazzling Daz will want to cover the bottom right-hand corner pocket. Pretty sharpish. Covers that, and he does control the game. Not bad.
Reg to play.
Could have been better.
Well, regardless, this has been some fight back on the brink of elimination for England. And there's no reason to think it isn't going to continue. I think those are all nervous smiles and laughs.
Don't know if Cran's looking at an out there, Jim. Can he play this off the yellow and the red? I don't think he will, though. I think he'll opt for the safety.
Well, certainly he's left room for the yellow. And Daz over to have a look. He now knows that Cran Wrigley hasn't covered that pocket.
But Daz still has these two awkward yellows wedged together at the left-hand side of the table. That's what's causing Daz the problem now.
And that's to say nothing about the yellow, red, and black more into the bed of the table. They're awkward.
Come on.
Just got to be sure what he wants to do. And he's changed twice.
Good covering shot there from Cran. I feel Daz is going to bump this yellow up to the top of the table.
If any of them have any nails left.
20 seconds remaining.
Well, that has just changed the complexion of this frame. Great shot from Cran.
Yeah, he's certainly completely blocked Dasward up now. Got him in a lot of trouble. Dasward's going to have to play some deliberate fouls somewhere in the near future. Which ones he chooses could be very significant now on this match.
They're probably wondering the same thing. When and where is it going to happen?
Seconds remaining.
Well, the answer to that.
Come on, Mike.
Foul, clear as it.
Come on, Mike.
I don't think that's what Dasward wanted. What a great chance for Australia this is, Jim. Just look at Dasward's face.
He's got to open the red up by the black right now, I think. He's going to free the black and the red. All remaining reds will be in the open. And he'll just have to complete a clearance. Here we go.
30 seconds remaining.
It's a great shot, Jim. He's given himself every opportunity now for Australia to snatch the World 8-Ball Team Championship. This is history in the making, Jim. Awesome pressure, though. Awesome pressure on Cran.
Come on, Mike.
I think he might already have made a mess out of it if this red doesn't pass, but certainly one step closer to that cup heading down to the South Pacific.
I don't think it does pass, Jim. Which only gives him, well, he's got two options. He could play a very, very hard plant up into the top left-hand corner, or this shot now, which he's going for. Cut into the top left-hand corner. Big shot.
Yes.
What a great pot, Jim. That's a fabulous pot under the pressure.
Great red this was. That could lay the foundation for an unbelievable Australian victory. Steady nerve required.
Might be another twist in the tail yet, Jim. But having said that, these are real formality balls now.
It's theirs to win or lose right now. The captain of the Australian team can't bear to watch. 2 balls away.
I'll tell you what, Jim, he's made this shot a little more awkward than he'd have liked. Do you think he'll just roll it in, or do you think he might
I think he'll
jack his cue up and try and screw back for the black?
30 seconds remaining.
Wow. Close to the in-off. And the long trip. 1 ball away from being rewarded. He's done it! He's done it! Cran Wrigley has won it for Australia. It's a 14-frame to 12 victory. An unbelievable shot. Look at the Australians. What a night it's going to be now.
Well, we promised you an exciting final, and we got exactly that. Victory then for Australia here tonight. And I must say, commiserations, Kevin. The boys fought very hard all the way. You just couldn't manage to get ahead at all through that match, could you?
Not really. When they were 8-5 up and we came back, then I thought we were in with a chance. 9-all, we were back fighting. But I think they deserved to win in the end. I think they played the best pool, you know, so we've no complaints. We thought we had the big guns left at the back to put a bit of pressure on. It just didn't work.
Right. Well, Mick, if you'd like to just come a little bit close, stay with us though, Kevin. Well, congratulations. It was you were on the losing side, weren't you, in 1993 against England, but was this a little bit of sweet revenge tonight?
Well, hey, what can you say? They're a fantastic side. They've won 3 World Championships in a row, and we come here praying to God that we just get a chance, and we got lucky tonight, but God, I'm proud. What a fantastic mob of players, and to England, to beat the greatest team that I've ever seen is just a great honour and fantastic.
We agree with you there, Mick. Everyone played so well, but stay with us because we're going to hand over to our MC for the presentation.
And first of all, we'd like to say our commiserations to Kevin and his England side. They had a tremendous tussle here tonight. But to the winners, our congratulations, and the beautiful Embassy World Team Trophy goes to Australia and Mick Delahunty.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of celebrating going on in the Australian camp. Well, maybe not too much, because some of the guys in this final tonight, on both sides, the England side and the Australian side, have made it through to the quarterfinals of the men's individual tournament, where you can see the first quarterfinal next Monday night here on Sky Sports at 10:15. I hope you can join us then. I certainly hope you've enjoyed tonight. We have. And we leave you with Australia, the new 1996 World Team Champions.